Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. Now today I thought I'd like to return back to Poland and take a look at their 24-hour SRG Menu 3. Now this particular one is a year past its expiry date, so let's get this on a table and see what this pack contains. So, as you can see, I now have here on the table this 24-hour Polish SRG3. Now this particular one expired just about a year ago now, so it's at least 12 months over its best before date, so hopefully everything should be okay. And it does actually give you a list of contents in Polish, English and French. Now according to this, I should have in here minced pork, sauerkraut stew with sausage for meal 1 and a whole host of other things. For meal 2, chicken meatballs in spinach, spinach sauce, and working away along for meal 3, beef in gravy. So that is the main components, but they also have a lot of other accessories. So very much like a US MRE bag, but obviously much bigger. Nice strong polythene, no terrible open seal, so I need to bring in another one of my knives. Now this particular one is a Magnum by Boker, and I got this one free with a magazine subscription, so quite a nice free gift for joining the magazine. And it's just a simple lock-in and folding knife with a little boot and belt clip on the back there, but a very nice free gift. So let's use this to slash the back of the SRG, and as always, very impressive set of content. So what have we got in here? Now so much is going to come out of this one. Carefully not to fall off my table. Wow. Still going, still going, still going. So, what a huge selection. So let's just push all these to one side and see if we can make some sense out of all of this mess. Now I've not got my translate with me at the moment, but I will translate as we go through each individual meal. So let's try and tidy up a little bit. We have here a set of 4 cups with, it looks like the accessory set in there, some sweets and some teas and things, which we shall open in a moment. So there's 4 cups. There is 1, 2, 3 sets of cutlery, full sets, knives, forks, spoons, very large sets of cutlery. We have, which I think is a fruit tea. As I said, I'll do a proper translation on these before we actually produce meals. Now I think that might be the minced beef or the minced pork that it spoke about. We have another large tin. I think that might be the sauerkraut with sausages. Well dented and damaged. I hope it's not been compromised there. We have, I'm hoping that says poultry, as in chicken. If it does, that's the chicken meatballs. Now this is probably the beef in gravy. For my Polish speaking viewers out there, I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, but I will translate, as I said, and get a little bit more accuracy. I believe these are crisp bread. There's so much on my table, I'm struggling to find space, and more crisp breads. And that may be a jam. in a nice little bag in case of rupture, which is a nice touch. And I think that is the honey, again in a nice little bag. It's struggling to get it all on the table. 2 packs of the infamous Panzer crackers, the hardtack biscuits. We have a very broken 100-gram bar of chocolate, but it does feel like it's very broken. 60% cocoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which I think are instant teas of different descriptions. Instant fruit teas. We have a fig compressed bar, a fig bar, and of course the heating kit, the heating stove, which just contains the fuel tablets, some matches, and the bendable stove. So, yet again, try and get that closed, a very impressive set of contents. So I'm now going to rearrange these, not necessarily eat them in the meal order as suggested on the pack, but I'm going to come back with what I would consider breakfast. So, welcome back to what I would call breakfast, and I did in the end decide to follow the suggested menu as provided on the pack. So, for breakfast I am having the sauerkraut with sausage. Now this was so badly damaged I did want to open the tin and just check if the contents was good before I ate it. Obviously I didn't know whether that had been damaged through, but it was good. And I've now got it in a dish pre-warmed underneath the plate here. So I've got the sauerkraut and sausage. Then there is a Forest of the Fruits instant tea. What I thought was instant tea before is actually dried fruits, freeze-dried fruit. So it's always nice to have a bit of fruit. We have the pork and beef, which I believe is like a luncheon meat. Some honey and some crisp breads. So let's also take a look inside this little accessory pack. So it's nicely sealed. I can see there is 4 cups, which I won't be using today, but will come in very handy I'm sure. So what have I got in here? Now I have a nice selection of 3 fruit and 3 coffee sweets or candies. Let's put those to one side. We have a selection of sugars. I'm assuming they were probably coffee, some wet naps, 3 wet naps, some xylitol gum. I'm getting in a bit of a mess here again. Some salt. And some peppers. I shall keep those out just in case I need a little bit of salt and pepper. And that's basically the contents. Some little Ziploc bags and some tissues, or TP. So I'm just going to move the cups, the Ziploc bag and the tissues out the way for now. I might have one of the gum. Again, for the others, the sugar can go back in. I'll keep a wet nap just in case, and I'll put the little drinks, which I think are coffees, back in there for later. So I'm getting a little bit of a mess today, not as organised as usual. So where shall we start? I think I'm going to start as always with my drinks, and today I'm just going to have one of these fruit teas. This one is Forest of the Fruits, and it says you can have hot or cold. So today I'm going to have this one cold. It's quite a warm day out. I don't particularly fancy a hot drink, so nice large granules there. I'm going to need to open the spoon set, accessory set that came with, and there is a knife, a fork, a large spoon and a small spoon. Let's just put those to one side, and I'll try the small spoon for mixing the tea. Now I'm going to fill the glass. It's not a very large glass. It doesn't really say how much water, so it'll be to adjust to taste. Give that a good stir. Okay. A spoon a little white. And I think we'll have a look at the, what I think is the luncheon meat component. It is a luncheon meat spam style meat. I'm glad I didn't warm that up. I do prefer it cold. Open the crisp bread. Now these feel a little bit damaged. If the chocolate is anything to go by, I wouldn't be surprised if these are not smashed. Let's have a look. I think I'm going to need to go down the side of the pack to risk not emptying crumbs everywhere. They're reasonable condition. I should just have a couple of those out for now, but they are a little bit sorry for wear. I'm just going to open the honey in this nice little Ziploc bag. Again, quite a lot of damage. This pack has sustained some serious impacts in its time. A little bit of crystalline honey there. And last but not least, I think we shall just take the lid now off this bigos, which is the sauerkraut with sausages. I'll just put that on there to keep it warm. Okay, so another little shuffle about. Where do we start? I think I'm going to start with this tea. Forest Fruits tea. Not overly strong, not overly powerful with fruit flavours, but it is a nice, delicate, I would say raspberry flavoured tea, but it does say fruits of the forest. It's a nice, cold, comforting drink. I think we need to just open this fruit now. These are dehydrated fruit, freeze-dried fruit of various kinds. Just pour those in there. I can see strawberries and banana. There's like blackberry and some dried fruit there. Okay, so I think I'm going to start straight with the mains. Now this bowl is still a little bit warm. I did put it in the microwave to warm this. So what we've got, I can see cabbage in there. There is sliced sausage. So let's first of all go for a little bit of the cabbage, the sauerkraut. Soft, very moist, very well cooked cabbage. Slight hint of pickle there, so it's like a pickled cabbage. A strong smell of the smoked flavour. It's taken on a lot of the flavouring from this sausage, the smokiness from it. So there's a piece of the sausage. Very flavoursome, very typical, dare I say, Polish sausage, because that's exactly what it is. But if you've had Polish sausage from the supermarket, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's that sort of flavour. The flavour has come out, gone through into the sauerkraut. Very nice, very tasty. Not overly salted and peppered. I'm going to add the salt and pepper. Many wouldn't want this. Personal choice. I think I could just do with a little bit of extra. So I shall be using a salt and pepper. Give that a stir. Nice big bite. So there's a piece of sausage and a load of the sauerkraut cabbage. For me, that needed the salt and pepper. Much better, much more flavour. Salt and pepper brings the flavour out. Very nice dish. Not something I would usually associate with breakfast, but it is meal one of the 3 meal suggestions, so breakfast it is. Another drink of the tea just to cleanse our palate. But a very pleasant, very nice meal. Now, let's move on to the pork and beef. Looks like a luncheon meat or a spam. Cuts like luncheon meat or spam. Tastes very much like an English style luncheon meat. Far less salt than spam. Spam is very, very salty. This contains less salt, but is still a very, very pleasant, enjoyable meat dish. Let's try a little bit with the sauerkraut. That goes exceptionally well. It adds sweet saltiness to it, so I probably didn't need the salt if I was going to add this, but certainly a meat which you can add into the mains. Very nice, very tasty spam style luncheon meat. Crisp bread, standard looking crisp bread. Even though it's a year out of date, still has plenty of crispiness to it. Very simple, very tasty. Standard style crisp bread most people should be familiar with in a shop, from a store. Designed obviously to be a base and bulking agent, so try some with the sauerkraut or bigos. Yes. Very nice. As a background, we'll also try it with some of the pork and beef. Doesn't add a lot of flavour to the individual items, but it does add another crispy texture to the meal, a texture rather than a flavour enhancer. Another little sip of this fruit tea, very delicate, very mild, very nice for cleansing the palate. Moving on to some of these dried fruits there. There's some big strawberries. Let's have a look at some of the smaller ones. I believe that's a strawberry. Taste of that. Tastes a little bit soft, a little bit chewy. Not what I was expecting. Maybe a little bit damp from the age. I think moisture has got to these. Definitely. They're too soft. Probably perfectly fine, but I don't know how long that packet's been damaged. I'm just going to not risk eating any more of those. It's a shame. They just feel soft, too soft for a freeze-dried fruit. Obviously moisture's gotten in, and I have no idea how many months or years that has been happening. So we'll have another look at this honey, crystallised. I'm sure if it was heated up it would liquefy. In fact, just giving it a stir, it's helping that process along. Just the stirring has actually softened that up, as you can see. So let's have a taste of that. Standard European style honey. The stirring has made it more liquid. Just a typical European style honey, a good little bit of after meal sweetness. I don't think I'm going to try the xylitol gum this meal because it might upset the flavours of the vinegar in the sauerkraut stew. I will try one of these with the lunch or dinner component. So I'm going to finish this and leave it here. Brief recap: the fruit tea, nice, delicate, not overpowering, not over sweet, a gentle background fruit flavour, but a very refreshing palate cleanser. The sauerkraut and sausage, or bigos, I do apologise if I keep pronouncing that wrong to some of the Polish speaking friends. It is just that. It's pickled cabbage in a stew, took on a lot of the flavours from the Polish sausage. I personally, and this is the personal thing, wanted to add the salt and pepper, but once I did, that improved that tenfold. Nice, tasty. Chunk of the luncheon meat there, or the pork and beef. Luncheon meat style, as opposed to Spam. Very similar texture to both. Spam is a lot more saltier, this is less salty, so it's more like an English luncheon meat. Very nice quality. It goes exceptionally well in the main meal. My dried fruits, unfortunately I think moisture has got into that packet. They are spongy, they are squidgy. I have had freeze-dried fruits before. They're meant to be crisp and dry. These look more like little pieces of sponge. So, shame, but I'm sure there was a lovely dried fruit previously. Honey, typical European honey, sweet, crystalline until I gave it a stir. It's now liquefying nicely. And the crisp breads. Even after being a year out of date and a little bit battle damaged, they are still crisp and make a good background base. So, I'm going to leave it here. Thanks for watching, and please join me for part 2 where I'll take a look at the lunch and dinner. But for now, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and hit that notification button for future videos coming very soon. So thank you and goodbye.